you know, there are wines that come from the places that they're grown, and the 5 growing regions in France are very distinct by the terroir. The same is true of our brand. I told you that we came from we just want to make shoes to make a living, to, hey, it turns out that we're from a place. There's a provenance to Timberland. And by the Lamprey River in Newmarket, it's a very beautiful place, in this old brick building. And, you know, it's a village. It's an American village. It's a very particular place. It's a form of American democracy. It's hard scrabble. It's an immigrant community. It's wet and cold and rough and unforgiving. And our brand, to the extent that any brand can be nurtured from such very stony soil, the truth is, before we knew what our brand was, our brand had a personality and a point of view that was authentic from place. It's funny, we weren't brand builders as instinctively, we were manufacturers. We had an Italian guy come to visit in 1979 who had smelled the essence of the brand. I honestly don't know how he found it, but he showed up in double-breasted suit. My father and uncle thought the guy should be committed, and he said he wanted to buy shoes, and they thought they meant a pair of shoes. And he bought 6,000 pairs of one style shoe, and they made him pay cash because he said he was going to go sell them in Italy, and they thought, okay, when this guy finds out you can't sell shoes in New Hampshire, and they're going to come back for his money back, so we'll have to move the offices. Giuseppe sold all 6,000 pairs, and he came back, and he said, I want to create a distributor's business in Italy. And they said, when we figure out what a distributor is, we'll call you back. But he built our brand in Italy. And when we tell you who we are, we used to take pictures of the boot. We'd try to correct every imperfection, in color, perfect. Giuseppe took black and white photos of the boots, took the laces out, covered them with mud, hung them from a clothesline, and ran an ad in Italian that said, and thank God neither my father nor my uncle understood Italian, said, if you love me, you'll treat me badly. And so I got the ad translated, like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, he wasn't selling boots. He was selling New England rough spirit, independence, and romance, and all of a sudden we had a brand. We used to be a product, so we talk about boot, brand, and belief. Giuseppe, in very many ways, invented the brand. Now, we're smart guys. We're fast learners. And so when we saw that there was value in brand, not in product, we didn't give up the passion for product, but we sure started making investments in brand. So far today, I think I've probably made 10. We're not formally trained. I went to business school. I'm overeducated but undertrained. And so brand has been to us egocentric and personal and passion. And so we've disdained competitors when we should have paid attention. We've misunderstood consumers when we should have been listening, we were talking. We've been, in fact, the best things we've ever done in terms of brand building is listen. And I don't mean to consumers. We're not Procter & Gamble sophisticated. But I told you the story of Giuseppe. He came to us and said, it's not a boot, it's a brand. And we said, got it. We're pretty fully involved, pretty passionate guys about what we do, boot, brand, and belief. And we're so busy, and I don't mean in a temporal sense, but I mean a passionate sense, that we don't know what we don't know. When we forget that, we screw up the brand, we screw up the business, we screw up everything. When we remember that we know what we know and we don't what we don't, and we are powerful enough to say to people, show us, help us, share strength with us, we can fly. And in the 30 years of brand building, the brand is as good as it is, mostly because we didn't know, and we knew that we didn't. Most of the mistakes we've made is when we said, I got this one. And I'm not trying to be, aw shucks from the country, because that's not how I think about us. I'm just telling you the model of almost stone soup, everybody contributing something to make it work, is really how the brand got built. Our brand appears to me strongest when we are at our most vulnerable. In 1994, when I was first put in charge of the company, I led us right off a cliff, like one of those Roadrunner commercials. Remember those cartoons where the guy's hiking him and he goes, uh-oh, right? I set the company to grow up 72% in revenue, and it grew 56% in revenue. 56 would have been great, except I set it for 72, and the rest of it went into inventory. We had a liquidity crisis, and we couldn't advertise. We couldn't do anything. We could hardly breathe. The banks were on our, literally, they had our throat for 18 months. And we found the strength of the brand in our weakness, because the consumer didn't notice the distress. In the current cycle, we had a tremendous cycle of consumer interest and then disinterest in the brand. And so we went out into the market with this, like, oh, I'm not going to want to hear this. And we asked, 1 million consumers, tell us about the brand. Not literally, we did some real research. And they came back and they said, look, you obviously have your head up your rear end. I don't know what's bothering you, but our view of the brand is, get over yourself. We love the brand. Show up again. Where have you been? And so the permission that we have from consumers has saved us more than once. And when things are really good, we should be smart enough, when or if things are really good again, we should be smart enough not to miss the point that at the end of the day, it is about people making a choice. That no one needs our product. Either they love it or they just don't buy it. And the fact is, even as badly as some things have gone in the last 20 years, consumers have decided to love our brand, and we're grateful.